Right, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Carrying on with Kitab al-Tahara. We had taken different types of water, Tahur, Tahir, and Najis. And then they started telling you about what happens if a dead animal falls into the water. Okay. Then they mentioned, there's a chapter that's going to come, inshallah, on Monday. They speak about how to cleanse that najasa. So we mentioned that if it's an insect or an animal that doesn't have blood in it, so for example, a grasshopper, a locust, falls and had to die in the water is still clean. Or if it's an animal that lives in water, for example, a fish, that had to die in the water is still clean. As for any other thing, then the water becomes najis. And they'll mention to you more detail. However, there's two masail that they mention in this part of the book or in this part of the chapter, only because it's slightly related to tahara, but it's also related to cleansing. So they tell you, first is, they say, kullu ihabin dubigha faqad tahur. This is star. Ihab, the word ihab like this. So ha, this is a ba. Ihab is the hide or the skin of an animal. Okay, could be a cow, could be a goat, could be a camel, etc. The skin of the animal, in the olden days, they would use it for many different things. Even up to today, they use the skins for shoes, as well as for, in the olden days, for water vessels. Today we have bottles. In those days, they would use the skin and some of the parts of the animals to keep liquids, etc. So if you've got an animal, and let's say this animal is one that you can slaughter and halal to eat. So for example, you slaughter your cow or your sheep or your goat or your camel, its skin becomes tahir. So you can eat the meat and you can also use the skin for whatever you want to use it for. It becomes clean. However, what happens if a person was unable to slaughter the animal? So let's say you have a cow and it died. Now we know that's meta. You can't eat the meat. You have a goat and it died. You can't eat the meat. You have a camel and it died. You can't eat the meat. So this skin or this hide is called an ihab. The word is ihab. So the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam says in a hadith, أيما إهاب دبغ فقد طهور. Any of these hides or skins that dibagha has been done on it. So dibagha was a way of cleansing these skins, treating them. So whether it was in the sun, tanning them, or they used to use some herbs from the trees, certain seeds and fruits, etc. And they used to cleanse them. And in today's time, if you've got any, for example, chemicals, and you cleanse these hides, they become clean. So that's the first mas'ala they tell you. And in the Hanafi madhab, bearing in mind there's difference between the other madhab, the Hanafi madhab, they tell you every single skin that you cleanse like this or you purify like this becomes pure. Then they have two exceptions. They say illa. Illa means except. Number one, jild khinzir. They say the skin or the hide of a pig, because a pig is najisul ayn. It itself is impure and you can't cleanse it. So they're saying you can't eat the meat, obviously, and the skin, you can't use it. It's najis. Even if you treat it, even if you had to take all the water in the ocean and wash the pig's skin, it won't become tahir. And the second, they tell you the skin of a human being. And why the skin of a human being? Even though nobody would use it, but they say the skin of a human being, likaramati, due to the human being respected, due to the human having status in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, due to the human having been honored by Allah. That's why Allah says, وَلَقَدْ كَرَّمْنَا بَنِي آدَمَ. So they say that this human being, person dies, obviously you can't use their skin and you can't cleanse it, okay? Not because it's najis. So if you have to touch a dead person, not that that dead person is najis, but you can't use the skin for anything. Why? Because it's been on it. Okay, that would mean, according to the Hanafi madhab, any other skin or hide from an animal that you can eat or can't eat, if it's been purified or cleansed, you can use it. So that would include a dog skin, for example, elephant skin, lion skin. As long as you've taken it and it's been cleansed, then you can use it. Where would a person use it? As I told you, first is, let's say a person uses it for to hold water. Okay, so they would make their pouches, etc. They use it to hold water. Number two is, let's say it's made into some sort of clothing. So you've got, for example, shoes that are made out of some sort of leather, and some of the madhahib you see, like in Sudan and that, the people wear shoes made out of snake skin, and they tell you because the snake skin is very strong. And you've got people who wear belts as well as leather that's taken from crocodiles, so people's wallets, etc. So according to this opinion, as long as it's been treated, it's clean to use, not to eat. That's if it's dead. And if the animal was slaughtered in a shari'i way, even if you can't eat it, the meat would not be allowed, you wouldn't be allowed to eat the meat, but they tell you that the skin is clean and the meat is not najis. Why they tell you, even though you're not allowed to eat it? For example, let's say, it's just an example. Let's say there's a small elephant and it's going to die. Or it's unwell, for example, not going to die, it's unwell, but still living. And the person, owner, goes and he cuts this elephant, or he kills the elephant. Okay, this, we're not talking about what's right and wrong. I'm just giving you a metaphorical example from my head. And then he doesn't want to waste the meat. And you know, at the zoos, they have lions and that. So if he had to slaughter this elephant properly, and then he cut the meat and went to feed that meat to the lions, if he had to hold that meat is clean, because the elephant didn't die by itself. So you must differentiate between these two. You must differentiate. Firstly, is meat that you can eat, and there's meat that you can't eat. That we all know, halal and haram. Then there's skin, and the skin that is permissible to use and skin that is not permissible to use. All skin is permissible to use if it's been treated or if it's been slaughtered, except that of a pig and a human being. You understand? So for example, a person has elephant leather, or let's say from the elephant's bones, they make something from it. As long as there's nothing left from the fat, etc., and this elephant has been cut properly, it's okay. In fact, they go further and they tell you that from a dead animal, not only the skin, but also anything that's, if you had to remove, doesn't hurt the animal. So for example, a dead sheep that has wool on it, or an animal that has hair on it, you wanted to use that hair. So for example, a person who wears a coat made from a bear's fur. Bear, you can't eat a bear because it's got a canine. But if, for example, the bear died and they took that fur, you're allowed to use it. So bear in mind, there's something called skin, and then there's something called hair or fur. Hair or fur is clean. Okay. And also when it comes to the bird, the birds, the feathers are clean. The beak, for example, is clean. The claws are clean. So if that had to fall on you, or if a person had to use it or keep it, it's something pure. And this all comes under this mas'ala. They mention all this detail in أيما إهاب دبغ فقد طهر. Bearing in mind that the other madhahib have different opinions. So just bear that in mind. Then after that, they tell you this separately, even though I mentioned it. They say sha'rul insan. Why did I mention it separately? Sha'r is the hair, okay? The hair and anything that you're able to remove easily without pain is clean, as well as anything that it itself doesn't have life in is clean. So, for example, the hooves of an animal, whether it's a halal or animal or animal that died by itself, you can use the hooves. And remember, we're still keeping the exception of pigs. Then they go on to mention a mas'ala which is mustathna. The mustathna means an exception to the rule. After telling you all this, in the Hanafi madhab, there's a slight allowance according to Imam Muhammad where he says that the hair, not the skin, the hair of a pig is permissible to use for who? For those who usually sew the shoes. Why did he say that? Because they say the hair of a pig is very strong. So if you have to put it and use it when sewing the shoes, etc., it remains strong. So in the madhab, that's one opinion where they allowed, they made an exception for the hair of the pig. And then there's, to digress a little bit, there's, I wouldn't say a fringe opinion, but it's a very minority opinion that allows you to use other stuff from the pig. I won't go into that detail. I'll give you an example. Sometimes people ask you about a comb or a brush that's made from pig hair, okay? And they tell you, no, it's because it's the best hair to use. That's what they say. Here, if you were taking with this opinion, it would be permissible to use if it's needed. If it's needed. There's another opinion that even mentions that it's clean, that's outside the madhab. So to recap quickly, we spoke about the skin of the dead animals. We then spoke about if the animal had to be slaughtered, even if it's a haram animal, you can still benefit from its skin, meaning haram to eat. And then we spoke about the hair and what's similar to hair. So it itself doesn't have any life in it. So hair and nails and claws and the beak, etc. That would all be tahir and a person is allowed to use them. Did you guys understand? Inshallah, next week we'll take Ahkamul Ahbar, the ruling on the wells. Bi'idhnillah. Any questions?
Yeah, Sheikh.
Yeah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Salama.
I wanted to ask, maybe you could touch one time on the animals that are prohibited to eat or slaughter in the Hanafi madhab, because I only learned them according to the Maliki madhab, but I think in the Hanafi madhab they would have more rulings regarding that.
So the Maliki madhab are the most lenient when it comes to food and drink, and this comes in a different chapter. So when they're speaking about food and drink and sayd and dhakah, etc., then they tell you what's allowed and what's not allowed. But generally, when you look at bahimatul an'am are permissible. Those are your sheep and your goats, your cows, etc., camels, as well as chickens, turkeys, that type of thing. Where they, well, in fact, this would make it easy for you. The Maliki madhab, they'll divide into two. They'll tell you animals are either land animals or sea animals, i.e. water animals. They don't have the in-between. Okay, in-between meaning those that can live in the land and the sea. For example, a crocodile. So the Maliki madhab would allow you to eat the crocodile also. That's why you find people eating crocodiles in that madhab. The others, they'll tell you that no, you divide it into three. Okay? And then anything that has a canine is impermissible to eat. Okay? كل ذي ناب من السباع. Any wild animal that has a canine, you're not allowed to eat. وكل ذي مخلب من الصيد. And any bird that has claws that it hunts with, you're not allowed to eat that bird. So for example, a falcon or an eagle, you're not allowed to eat that. And then there's a hadith where the Messenger ﷺ says that, in fact, the same hadith, he says, كُلُّ ذِي نَابٍ مِّنَ السِّبَاعِ, speaking about the wild animals that have canines, it says, فَأَكْلُهُ haram, you're not allowed to eat them. Then he says, إِلَّا الضَّبْعِ. ضَبْع is a hyena. So some of the madhahib allow you to eat a hyena. The Hanafi madhab don't allow you to eat a hyena. They also, in the Hanafi madhab, they don't allow you to eat an elephant. Because they tell you that they say that the tusk is considered a nab. And in eating and drinking, the Hanafi madhab and Hanbali madhab are very, very close. And inshallah, you'll take more detail in where they speak about eating and drinking of food and drink.
Sorry, Sheikh, is it also the case that they are more strict on certain sea creatures like shrimps or lobsters in the Hanafi madhab?
All the Hanafis of today all eat, all that I know of anyway, they eat shrimp as well as lobster, because they have two opinions in the madhab. One says that it's disliked and makruh, and the others allow them to eat. Also in the Hanafi madhab, they don't allow what they call at-tafi ala al-bahr, a fish that's died in the sea and let's say it's floating now. They tell you that's maita, you're not allowed to eat it. The other madhahib allow you to eat what you've caught from the sea as well as what's died in the sea, that lives in the sea even if it's floating. So if you found a dead fish in the ocean, let's say it died an hour ago, it's still fresh, the Hanafi madhab won't allow you to eat that. The others will allow you to eat it. طافي على البحر.
Jazakallahu khairan.
I mean, yeah, inshallah, you're going into more detail with that. Also, when it comes to rodents, etc., those are not allowed to eat. And you take that again. Mr. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam says that there's some animals which cause problems, and a person should get rid of them. And one of them are rats or mice. Any other question? The main thing is you understood this, and that you understood why they tell you when it comes to the skin, as well as the hair, as well as the bones, etc. Omar, can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
Let's say, okay, Ibrahim ask.
Can you do a quick overview? Overview. I came a little
Pardon?
late. Can you do a quick overview? Because I came a little late because of Jummah.
Okay, if you had an excuse, then we'll do an overview for you. So today we took the skins of animals, okay? So let's say you've got a cow, for example. If you slaughtered that cow in an Islamic manner, the skin is also permissible to use. So you can use it to make a piece of clothing, you can use it to make a vessel to hold water, etc. What happens if the cow died? It hasn't been slaughtered. Here the meat is haram. However, the skin, if it's treated, it's called dibagha. أيما إهاب دبغ فقد طهر. The Messenger ﷺ says, any skin or any hide like that, which has been treated and could be treated with chemicals in our time today. In those days, they used to use some sort of herbs and plants and seeds, etc., putting it in the sun, salt, whatever it may be, and it's clean. He says this dibagha, this treatment cleanses it. Why they mention this to you? They mention it to you so that you know, for example, you're making wudu from a skin of a dead animal. It's allowed to use it, meaning the water is clean. Or you made some sort of clothing from an animal, you're allowed to use it. Hanafi madhab goes as far as telling you that even if it's a wild animal that you're not allowed to eat, if you had to treat the skin or the hide, it becomes clean. So a lion, for example, an elephant, a giraffe, whatever it may be, as long as the skin is treated, you're allowed to use it. And they tell you if this animal had to be slaughtered in an Islamic way, it's clean even without dibagha, without treating the skin. You're not allowed to eat the meat though. Then they make two exceptions. They tell you first exception is a pig. So no matter what you do or try to clean the pig's skin, you can't use it. And number two is a human being, because a human being has been honored by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that's to do with, if you think of it, if you look here, inside is the meat, on top of it is the skin. Then you've got the hair. Again, the hair of everything is clean, okay? Wild animal or not, because they tell you that the hair is not something that life, they say that there's no life in it. When they say no life in it, meaning no blood in it, that's what they're speaking about. So if you had to get the hair of a buffalo or hair of a rhino, etc., you had to use it somewhere, they'll tell you it's clean. Then they make an exception after telling you that a pig is completely najis. There's one opinion, the Hanafi madhab, that says for those who are making shoes, etc., if they need a pig's hair for these shoes, and they say the pig's hair is very strong, especially when you're sewing, then Imam Muhammad ibn Hassan, he allowed that. He said, why liddarura is something that's necessary. Also, what would be built upon this besides wudu and clothing is if a person wanted to sell, okay? If a person wanted to sell, he would be allowed to sell. So for example, you got crocodile leather. The leather's been cleaned. It's been treated. You want to sell that leather, you can. And if it's been slaughtered in a halal way meaning zakah, then the meat is also clean, even though you're not allowed to eat it. So you can sell the meat. Understood? And when they're speaking about hair, they say, and whatever is similar to hair in ruling. So for example, the nails, there's no blood in the nail. If you cut your nails, that's all clean. The beak of an animal, the claws, meaning the beak of a bird, the claws of a bird, the feathers of a bird, all of that, there's no blood in it, so it's clean. You find somebody who's collecting peacock feathers and putting them at home. There's nothing wrong in that because the feathers are clean. Understood?
No,
All right. Then they give you more and more detail later on. For now, why they told you this? After telling you what's najis, what's not najis, then they told you that some things might be thought to be najis or najis in the other madhab. In our madhab, it's not, especially when you're storing water and you have clothes from these things. Any other question? Inshallah, next week we'll take Ahkamul Abar. Abar, the well. So how do you clean the well? Ibrahim, are you allowed to sell wild animals that are alive? Lions, elephants, crocodiles.
for what purpose?
Just business.
Yes.
In which madhab? And which madhab says no?
I think the Hanafis say no, but then the other ones
No,
say yeah.
according to the Hanafi madhab, if they're telling you that it becomes clean, they'll say you're allowed to sell it. A donkey, for example, I give you an example. So you understand how something can be clean, tahir, but not permissible to eat. A donkey, person is allowed to ride a donkey. The sweat of a donkey when you're riding, the sweat comes on a person. That would be clean. So you would say that animal, whilst it's alive, is still clean. There's those who say it's not clean, and then they make exceptions for the sweat, etc. But again, these are differences in fiqh, and those who say it's clean, especially when it's alive, it's quite a fair opinion, to be honest.
Yes, I did one time hear an opinion. I don't know where I read it or where I heard it, that, for example, to sell like poisonous reptiles and stuff, that would be not allowed because they are harmful. Is that correct? Or
Wallahu a'lam, because if poisonous, I give you an example, snakes. So when a person is bitten by a snake, Allah protect one and all, there's venom that goes into the person. The person can die or can be really affected. However, when you see those snake catchers, they catch the snakes and they put them on these bottles and they bleed the snake, meaning they take all the venom out. That then becomes anti-venom. So if a person is bitten by a snake, you treat it with venom from, I don't know which type of snake, whether it's the same snake or another snake, but they have what's called venom and anti-venom. So if you're able to prove that, you could argue the point to say that no, for those who are experts who know how to handle these things and where there's benefit, you could argue that you could sell it. That's why some of the ulama before, like in the books of buying and selling, they say that you're not allowed to sell that which doesn't have benefit. And they give some examples like insects, etc. However, in today's time, if it's proven that some of these insects, there's faida and benefit from them, you would be allowed to buy and sell them. So again, it's all looked on a basis, also looked on necessity, etc. And bearing in mind that as you're getting deeper and deeper, look, we were in tahara. This is a mas'ala to do with cleanliness and also to do with eating and drinking. Yes, there's a lot of difference in tahara, salah, etc. Salah is more, and then as you're going, there's more and more and more and more and more, and it carries on, as you can see. Yalla, start with this. You can see my screen. Right.
Yes.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Umar, you can read. Al-Mushtari is the one who buys. Al-Ba'i is the seller. Umar, you can be a Mushtari. Ibrahim, you can be Al-Ba'i. In fact, Sa'id, you can be Al-Ba'i.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. Ayya khidmatin. I don't know what
Translate.
that means.
Is like, it's like, how can I help? Any help, literally. How can I help?
Uridu ba'd al-asas. I want after what is athar?
بعض is some. Athath is furniture.
I want some furniture.
Yeah, I would like some furniture. It's a bit more polite. Carry on.
ماذا تريد غرفة النوم.
ماذا تريد لي غرفة النوم. That's a lam. They haven't put the kasra.
ماذا تريد غرفة النوم.
لي. ماذا تريد لي غرفة النوم. This lam here.
أو ماذا تريد لي غرفة النوم. Does that mean, would you like to see the living room?
ماذا means what? ماذا means what? So what would you like for the bedroom?
Or what would you like for the bedroom?
Uridu sariran wa sitaratan. I want carpets and the curtains.
Like, want is a little bit rude.
I would like the carpets and the curtains. I would like to have would be correct.
سريرا. والسرير.
Sariran wa sitaratan. Oh.
A bed and a curtain.
Good. Oh.
Carry on.
وماذا تريد غرفة الجلوس.
وماذا تريد لي غرفة الجلوس.
وماذا تريد لي غرفة الجلوس. What would you like for the living room?
Yeah, living room, sitting room. Yeah.
Uridu arikatan wa sajjadatan. I would like to have a sofa or couch and the carpet.
Carry on.
وماذا تريد لي مطبخ. What would you like for the kitchen?
أريد فرنا وثلاجة.
ثلاجة. It's supposed to be a shadda. ثلاجة. Huh?
ثلاجة is fridge. Yeah.
Furn is
I
a
would
stove.
like to have.
Like a stove. Yeah.
I would like to have oven, right? Furnan is oven.
Stove, oven, yeah. Oven.
I would like to have oven and the refrigerator.
هل تريد شيئا? Is that how do you say that?
ماذا تريد للحمام?
I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong place. وماذا تريد الحمام? What would you like for the bathroom? For the bathroom?
أريد سخانا ومراعة مراعة. I would like
مرآة
مرآة. I would like to have I don't know what is سخانا.
Fan is a
مراعة
geyser,
mirror.
literally water geyser, water heater.
Oh, I would like
Or
to have
boiler,
a
as
water
Ibrahim
geyser.
calls it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would like to have a geyser and a mirror.
هل تريد شيئا? How do you say that?
Yeah, شيئا آخر.
هل تريد شيئا آخر? I don't know what that means.
Would you like anything else?
Okay.
شكرا. أريد مشاهدة الأثاث. Thank you. I would like to have. I would like to see. أثاث.
The furniture.
furniture.
تفضل.
تفضل. تفضل.
تفضل.
It's like, yeah, see you come, etc. It depends on the context. Here's the vocabulary. Ibrahim, read everything here and give us the meaning.
مطبخ, that means kitchen. غرفة نوم, bedroom. غرفة جلوس, living room. أثاث, couch or sofa.
No,
ستارة,
that is furniture, huh? Can you see there's
furniture.
lamps and pictures?
The furniture. أثاث, ستارة, curtain. أريكة, sofa.
أريكة.
أريكة, sofa. سجادة, carpet. سريرة, bed. ثلاجة, fridge. سخان, water boiler. فرن, oven. مرآة, mirror. البعير, البيع, dealer.
Not بيع. بائع.
بائع, seller, a salesperson. المشتري, buyer.
Well done. All this you have to learn all this vocab. And then they give you
Sheikh,
the
I had a
days.
question.
Yeah.
In the previous page, I forgot to pronounce the li, but I didn't see a kasra or a ya to indicate that. Or did I not look good at it?
They didn't give you the kasra. They're supposed to give you a kasra here. لي غرفة الجلوس غرفة النوم.
Okay.
Okay.
شكرا.
After that, here they're teaching you the days of the week. So it's just extra. Look at that. There's the days of the week. And there's tarakib. Days of the week, starting off Saturday, Sabbath, أصحاب السبت. واسألهم عن القرية التي كانت حاضرة البحر يعدون في السبت. Okay. So السبت, Saturday. Al-Ahad, Sunday. Sunday, generally, some people consider the first day of the week. Al-Ithnain is Monday, second day of the week. Al-Thulatha, some people say Al-Thulatha, Tuesday. Al-Arbi'a, Wednesday. Al-Khamis, Thursday. Al-Jumu'ah, Friday. You should write these down and write them in English also, so you know, just in case you forget, come here and start with Jumu'ah, you know that's Friday. Then the next one will be Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and inshallah I'm going to test you on these. All this is just practice on the days of the week. What's that?
Sheikh, As-Sabt, would that have its origins in Sabbath?
Yeah, Sabt. It was
Saturday.
close to the Sabbath.
Yeah.
Yeah, Saturday. Right. And here they got tarakib nahwiya. This is just sentence structure. And you see, the one in the blue is asking the question, the one in the green is answering the question. So they've given you the word bait. Bait means a house. And they're saying one person must ask the other, do you live in a house? And this, so hal means is like do. Taskunu, live. So do you live? Fi, in. Bait, a house. So this person says, na'am, yes, I live in a house. This one will be, yes, I live in an apartment. Yes, I live in Hayy al-Jamia. So, who didn't read? Nuzha, can you read what's in the blue? Saida, you can answer in the green. Read the example first and then go to the next one.
Okay. هل تسكن في بيت؟
Translate.
Do you live in a house?
نعم أسكن في بيت. Yes, I live in a house.
هل تسكن في شقة؟ Do you live in an apartment?
Look, شقة في. And you see
Oui.
after this في,
Okay.
there's kasra here. So في is what's called حرف جر or من حروف الجر. Any noun that comes after it will have a kasra. في بيت.
Okay. هل تسكن في شقة? Do you live in an apartment?
نعم أسكن في شقة. Yes, I live in an apartment.
هل تسكن في حي الجامعة؟ Do you live in an university or
University district. حي is like a district area, neighborhood,
district?
etc. And also anything that has alif and lam won't have tanween. So not al-jami'atin, it's al-jami'ati, one kasra.
Okay.
نعم أسكن في حي الجامعة. Yes, I stay in university.
Okay.
هل تسكن في حي المطار؟
Hold on. Aisha, you must answer. So knows how you carry on asking, and Aisha, you can answer.
Okay. هل تسكن في حي المطار؟ Do you live in an airport?
No,
نعم.
hold on. هل تسكن في المطار means do you live in the airport. حي, the word حي is literally a district or an area or a neighborhood or a suburb. So just say, for example, do you live in the airport district?
Okay. Do you live in the airport district?
نعم نعم أسكن في حي المطار.
Translate.
Yes, I live near airport.
District. Next one.
هل تسكن في بيت؟
نعم أسكن في البيت. Yes.
في بيت. في بيت. Notice how they give you here without alif lam. So without alif lam. When they give you with alif lam, use alif lam. Okay, next one. The next one, they're teaching you how to say, I would like something. Okay. One second. Right. So they say, أريد شقة من فضلك. I would like an apartment. من فضلك, just translate as please. Okay. من literally means from. فضلك, your virtue, i.e. please. أريد شقة. Notice how the شقة. This would be ثلاجة. Nuzha, you can read the first two. Sayyida, the next two. Aisha, the last two, and translate.
أريد ثلاجة من فضلك. I would like a refrigerator, please. أريد سجادة من فضلك. I would like a carpet, please.
Sayyida.
أريد ستارة من فضلك. I would like to have. I would like and curtains.
من فضلك
أريد
means please.
please. Yeah.
Next one.
أريد مرآة من فضلك. I would like to have a mirror, please.
Last one, Aisha. Aisha. Okay, if you're not this one.
last أريد شجرة من
أريكة.
أريكة
من فضلك. So the whole sentence. So you're putting this whole sentence. Besides, you're taking out the word shaqqa. You're putting arika. The whole sentence stands. أريد أريكة من فضلك. I would like a sofa, please. أريد قلما من فضلك. I would like a pen, please. أريد كتابا من فضلك. I would like a book, please. Carry on. Allah Halim, are you here? Halim.
نعم شيخ السلام عليكم.
Salam, yallah, let me ask you. Here, 2 exercises ago, they told you when someone asks a question and it's yes, you say na'am and the thing. Here they're telling you, or they're teaching you how to use the word la. La means no. It's asking you, do you live in a house? And the person says, no, I live in an apartment. So I'm going to ask you in blue and you can answer in green. هل تسكن في بيت؟
لا أسكن في شقة.
Yeah, في شقة. هل, the next one, هل تسكن في شقة? Do you live in an apartment?
Okay, Sheikh, could you please repeat that?
No, so this one here, can you see there's 2 here? So what I'm asking you, do you live in the apartment? And you have to say, no, I live in the house. Do you live in حي الجامع? No, I live in حي المطار. طيب هل تسكن في شقة؟
لا أسكن في بيت.
So it means no, I live in a house. هل تسكن في مكة؟
لا أسكن في مدينة. No, I live in مدينة.
هل تسكن في حي الجامعة؟ Do you live in the university district?
لا أسكن في حي المطار. I live in the district of the airport. No, I live in
هل تسكن في المدينة؟
لا أسكن في مكة.
في مكة.
No, I live in Mecca.
And then the next one is tells you ماذا تريد لغرفة النوم? So the person he's asking you, what would you like for a certain room? Here's a bedroom. The person says, I would like, this is curtains. Okay. Omar, I'm going to ask each one of you. Omar, first one. ماذا تريد للمطبخ؟
أريد ثلاجة.
سعيد، ماذا تريد للحمام؟
Okay, I'm get lost where I have to look.
Here. ماذا تريد للحمام؟
أريد شجنا
سخانا. What's سخان?
A boiler, or how do you call it? A
geyser.
kettle.
No, not a kettle. That's a geyser.
So we
Kettle
call
is
it over here, but okay, yeah, boiler.
You
Okay.
call it a kettle there. Do you call the hot water that comes in the shower? Do you call it as come from a kettle?
Yeah, it comes from we call it kettle. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. طيب, next, إبراهيم, ماذا تريد لغرفة الجلوس؟
أريد أريكة.
أريد أريكة. I'm sorry, yes, فتحة. The reason why they're giving these harakat, they want you to concentrate on it, and later you'll learn why it's أريكة and not أريكة. أريد أريكة. Next one, نزهة, ماذا تريد لغرفة النوم؟
أريد سريرا.
سيدة, ماذا تريد لغرفة الجلوس? I'm using the word تريد even though it's masculine just because it's in the book.
أريد سجادة.
عائشة, ماذا تريد للمطبخ؟
أريد فرنا.
What's a فرنا?
It's kitchen.
No, فرن. فرن. مطبخ is a kitchen. فرن is an oven.
Oh, okay.
Then Aisha, read the first 3 lines and translate. Meaning, read the first one, second one. The first one translate, second one translate, third one translate.
Next page.
You with us?
Yes, I'm there. أسكن في بيت. أسكن في بيت.
Means
بيت
أسكن from second means I live. في means in. Bait, what's bait from the picture?
home, house.
House. So I live in a house. أسكن في بيت. Next one, read again. Next one.
أسكن في شقة. I live in an apartment.
Right, next one.
Should I read it as it is written?
Pardon? Your voice is a little bit far. You need to speak into the mic. Next one.
أسكن في الشقة.
No, this one as is. في الشقة 3 غرف.
في الشقة 3 غرف.
What does في mean?
In.
In. What does شقة mean?
شقة means apartment.
Right, so together it means in the apartment. What's ثلاث?
I don't know.
ثلاث is a number they gave you. ثلاث. Look, how many doors are there? 1, 2, and 3. So in the apartment there's 3. And what's a غرف?
Room.
Rooms. We're saying in the apartment there are 3 rooms. Carry on reading. Read the next 3 also.
الشقة في الدور الأولي.
Yeah. If you don't know the meaning, translate slowly with the words that you know. So what's الشقة?
الشقة means an apartment.
Apartment. في means
in.
In. So the apartment is in. What's الدور?
Means that the
floor.
The floor.
And
أولي means
الأول,
first.
first. Altogether, what does the whole sentence mean?
I live in.
No,
first
not
floor.
I live. أسكن means I live. This is they just give you a sentence. الشقة في الدور الأول. The apartment is in.
Is
on.
in first. It's on first floor.
Right. Next one.
أريد مشاهدة الأساسي.
مشاهدة الأثاث.
مشاهدة الأساسي.
What does أريد mean? So you must write in your book. أريد means I would like. What does مشاهدة mean?
I don't know.
مشاهدة is to see. Al-Athath, what's Athath? You can see there's a sofa, there's a lamp, there's a small little tree, and a picture, all that, what's it called?
Living room.
Pardon?
Living room.
No, it's called furniture. أريد مشاهدة الأثاث means I would like to see the furniture.
I would like to see the furniture.
Last one. I'm only making you read so you get more practice.
أريد مشاهدة المطبخ. أريد مشاهدة المطبخ.
أريد means?
أريد means I would.
Yeah, you would like to. مشاهدة to see.
See the مطبخ. مطبخ is kitchen.
Right. So whole sentence.
I would like to see the kitchen.
Well done. All this with practice, inshallah, you'll know. Halima, you with us?
نعم شيخ, but my screen's gone blank. Black.
So your screen's gone blank means you can't read this.
No. There we go. Now I can. Let's see if this will work. I'm reading off my phone because my laptop is
Right.
gone in for.
So can you see where it says Ahmadu?
Yeah, I can see now, Sheikh.
Right. Bismillah. Read and translate every sentence as you're reading.
Sure, this is gonna. Okay, I'm gonna try my best, inshallah. أحمد يسكن في شقة جميلة. Ahmed lives in a beautiful apartment. الشقة حي المطار.
الشقة في في.
الشقة في حي المطار. The apartment is in the airport district. الشقة في الدور الثالث. The apartment is on or in.
Let's translate as on. Remember, when you're translating in English or to English, don't worry about translating word for word, and don't worry if the word fi in Arabic can also mean on and not in. So whatever makes sense in English, that's what you translate as. That's why sometimes people, they try to translate word for word and you don't understand what they're saying. No, you put it in a way that makes sense.
Okay. I would thought ala would be, but okay.
Yeah, ala means, and fi has two meanings. Mainly it means inside, but can also mean on.
Okay. I stopped off fi shaqqati.
So here, hold on one second. Can you see when you got alif lam and you've got a shadda, join it straight. So fi shaqqati.
Okay. في الشقة خمس غرف.
So that's plural. غرف.
Okay, so في شقة. So in the apartment, there are 5 rooms. Okay. في غرفة النوم سرير. In the bedroom, there's a سرير is a bed.
Yes.
So في غرفة النوم سرير. So in the bedroom there is a bed.
Yes.
Okay. في غرفة الجلوس أريكة.
أريكة with a fatha. أريكة.
أريكة. In the lounge, there is a sofa. في المطبخ.
This one, hold on. Can you see this one? Alif lam, and there's no shadda. So you hear you read the lam or the sukun. Fil matbahi.
Okay. في المطبخ فرن. In the kitchen there is a oven. Sheikh, would furnun also count as a microwave, or is it a separate word?
These days, some people might tell you microwave, to be honest. They'll just say microwave. They'll say the word like that, microwave. Literally.
Okay.
You must remember, if you ever get stuck speaking in the Arab countries, just whatever you talk, and give them the English words, they'll understand, trust me. They use a lot of English. Not to say it's the right thing, but they use a lot of English anyway.
Okay. في حمامي.
Fil, huh?
في الحمام مرآة. So in the bathroom there is a mirror.
Well done. You want me to ask you all the questions also on Monday?
Okay, let's go for it now, Sheikh.
طيب هل يسكن أحمد في شقة؟ Generally هل is always a na'am or a la question. So they're asking you, does Ahmed live in an apartment?
So I have to go back to. I have to think back to.
Tell me. You tell me yes or no from the passage. Yeah.
Okay. نعم.
نعم أحسنت. هل يسكن في حي المطار؟
نعم. Do I have to respond and say he lives in the district of the airport?
If you want to, but we're saving time. هل الشقة في الدور الخامس؟ Here you
نعم.
have to answer properly now. No.
Oh.
Is the apartment on the 5th floor?
Okay. لا.
Okay, where is it?
في دوري الثالث
أي في الدور الثالث. الشقة في الدور الثالث. كم غرفة في الشقة؟
خامس. But I have to put it into a sentence now.
Yeah, 5 غرف. Yeah, في الشقة 5 غرف. أين الفرن؟
في المطبخ.
أين المرآة؟
في الحمام.
أين السرير؟
في غرفة النوم.
No, so hold on a second. Can you see here? If you have what's called مضاف and مضاف إليه, you don't put alif lam here. So you can't say في الغرفة النوم because you say in the bedroom. So alif lam belongs here. في غرفة النوم.
في غرفة
Okay.
النوم. في غرفة
أين
النوم.
أحسنت. أين الأريكة؟
أريكة في غرفة الجلوس.
في غرفة الجلوس. أحسنت. Well done. Inshallah, we'll stop there. Don't. MashaAllah. Excellent. So you better, over the weekend, go over these first 3 modules properly, all of you. I'm going to ask you on Monday. And if you don't know, I'll ask you on Tuesday. And if you don't know, I'll ask you on Thursday. And if you don't know, I'll ask you on Friday, and we won't take a new lesson. And if you don't know, after Friday, we'll stop. We won't learn any more Arabic. So first 3 modules, learn them properly, write out the vocab, especially in this 3rd module. First 2, mashallah, you knew, but if you don't revise, you'll forget. 3rd one, they just tell you a little bit about the house, the different rooms, different furniture, etc. But then Alam Gheer is not here today. That's why we never go through 2nd book. It's 9 o'clock. So we can start reading one time and then we'll take your questions after that. Inshallah. Yeah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Carrying on with where the author is telling us how the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam was the role model and example for humanity. It says he sallallahu alaihi wasallam called us to follow his example in performing prayer, fasting, and marriage. Anas ibn Malik radiallahu anhu said, 3 people went around the houses of the wives of the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to ask about how the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam worshipped. When they were told, it was as if they thought their worship was little in comparison and said, where are we in relation to the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who has been forgiven his past and future wrong actions, meaning the Messenger sallallahu was forgiven. And when they asked about his acts of worship, they saw that, oh, there's so many that he's doing. What about us? And we not forgiven. So one of them said, I will pray all night, every night. Another said, I will fast all the time and not break the fast. The other said, I will withdraw from women and never marry. The Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam came to them and said, are you the ones who said such and such? By Allah, I am the one among you with the most fear and awareness of Allah. But I fast and break the fast. I pray and I sleep and I marry women. Whoever disdains my way and whoever leaves the way of the Messenger ﷺ is not from me. I am free from him. What this hadith teaches you is there's no extremism in the deen. A person, he doesn't have to perform Qiyamul Layl the whole night. He doesn't have to fast his whole life. He doesn't have to carry on in his ibadah the whole day and night. He doesn't have to cry the whole day and night. No, there's a balance. Deen has balance. It's your ibadah, there's your interactions with others. There's also time for you to rest in terms of being a human being, etc. Ibn Hajar rahimahullah said the way of the Prophet was the simple way, also the balanced way. He sallallahu alaihi wasallam would eat in order to gain strength for fasting. He sallallahu alaihi wasallam would sleep in order to gain strength to pray at night. And he would marry to break his lust, gain chastity, and increase his offspring. The hadith directs us toward following the example of people of high status. He sallallahu alayhi wasallam was an example regarding rituals of Hajj and pilgrimage. The necessity of adhering to the Prophet's way could not be more evident than in Hajj. He sallallahu alayhi wasallam ordered us to follow his example in performing Hajj, saying, "Take your Hajj rituals from me. خُذُوا عَنِّي مَنَاسِكَكُمْ." Perhaps I will not perform Hajj again, meaning he was telling the people, perhaps you won't see me again because he was going to die. Sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Following the Prophet's example must not be limited to imitating aspects of his personality. It must include aspects of his practical life. Indeed, he sallallahu alayhi wasallam was the most perfect of people. With regards to eating and drinking, he sallallahu alayhi wasallam never rejected any type of food that was present and never asked for any particular kinds of food that were not available. He was considerate. He sallallahu alayhi wasallam never rejected good food and he never looked for fault in food. If he liked the food, he ate from it, otherwise he would leave it. Months would pass and fire would not be seen lit in his house, i.e. no food was cooked. He sallallahu alayhi wasallam ate very little, and if food was not available, he would have patience. In fact, he sallallahu alayhi wasallam used to tie a rock to his stomach, meaning to help him with hunger pangs. I want to ask you a question. Omar,
Yes.
is it from the Sunnah if somebody today, if they tie a rock or stone on their stomach and they say, "I'm following the Sunnah of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam because I'm hungry"?
If he is also the person who is not able to lit a fire for 5 months, then it is sunnah. And if he has the enough provision to have, then he should not do that. Because as they mentioned,
yeah.
as they mentioned in the
Here they're talking about food wasn't available. If food is available and a person says, "No, I still want to be hungry and I want to tie a stone on my stomach," you tell him, "No, here food is available, you eat." When there was food, the Messenger ate. What you can do though, you can limit your portions. You can eat, as mentioned, some hadith, a third, and eat with the intention of being strong for ibadah. He sallallahu alayhi wasallam would say Bismillah before he began eating and would say afterwards, "Oh Allah, you have given us food and drink, you have sufficed and provided, you have guided and gave life. So may praise be unto you for what you have given." Whenever he ate at someone's house, he sallallahu alayhi wasallam would pray for them before departing. He sallallahu alayhi wasallam was not too proud to eat with those who were younger, older, free, slaves, Bedouins, or residents of Medina. Imagine that he was the leader. Sallallahu alayhi wasallam. As for sleeping and waking up, he sallallahu alayhi wasallam used to sleep on his right side while mentioning Allah and without being full of food or drink. He sallallahu alayhi wasallam would place his hand under his head and say, "Oh Allah, protect me from your torment on the day you resurrect your servants." What's the hadith in Arabic? Anyone knows?
The dua when he woke up.
No, what's this hadith in Arabic? What's this dua? It would have been excellent in the book if they had put the Arabic also, because sometimes people want the duas. Allahumma qini adhabaka yawma tab'athu ibadak. That's the hadith. He sallallahu alayhi wasallam woke up upon hearing the caller for prayer. He sallallahu alayhi wasallam would praise Allah, glorify him, and supplicate to him. Then he sallallahu alayhi wasallam used to brush his teeth with a siwak, toothstick used to clean the teeth, perform ablution and pray. He sallallahu alayhi wasallam constantly communicated with his Lord, praising him and demonstrating fear and hope. Sometimes he sallallahu alayhi wasallam would sleep on a mattress and sometimes on the floor. Mattress meaning like a bedding, not what we have today in terms of the springs, its foam, etc. And sometimes on the floor, on mats made from straw, or on his bed. What they're trying to tell you that he was easygoing. What was available, he used. He wasn't attached to the dunya. His speech, laughter, and tears. He sallallahu alayhi wasallam did not speak very much. He sallallahu alayhi wasallam used to speak slowly and clearly, not too fast for his speech to be memorized, and not too slow that there would be periods of silence. His guidance was the most perfect of guidance. Often he sallallahu alayhi wasallam repeated his words 3 times, so people would understand it, and then he greeted others, and when he greeted others, he would do so 3 times. He sallallahu alayhi wasallam used to be silent for long periods of time, speaking of nothing unnecessarily. He sallallahu alayhi wasallam used to say a lot in a few words, and he did not used to talk too much or too little. he sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not speak on matters that did not pertain to him. He sallallahu alaihi wasallam only spoke of things that generated reward, and whenever he disliked something, his facial expression would show. Most of his laughter was in the form of smiling. The most that would appear from his smile were his front molars. He sallallahu alaihi wasallam would laugh at things that were funny or things that were considered amazing. As for his crying, it was similar to his laughter. He sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not breathe hard while crying. His eyes would tear up and there would be some sounds in his chest. Sometimes he sallallahu alaihi wasallam would cry because someone had died, sometimes out of fear for his nation, sometimes out of fear from Allah, and sometimes when listening to the Quran. He sallallahu alaihi wasallam cried out of love and glorification to Allah, as well as out of fear of him. When his son Ibrahim died, the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam cried out of mercy, and he sallallahu alaihi wasallam cried when seeing one of his daughters on her deathbed. He sallallahu alaihi wasallam cried while listening to Abdullah ibn Mas'ud reciting the chapter Surah An-Nisa of the Quran. He sallallahu alaihi wasallam also cried when Uthman ibn Mad'un radiallahu anhu passed away and while praying the eclipse prayer. He sallallahu alaihi wasallam cried while sitting near the grave of one of his daughters, and he used to cry while praying the night prayer. Stop there on his speeches. You know, there's a hadith authentic in Bukhari. Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, from the 7 who will be shaded under the shade of Allah on the day of Qiyamah, he says, وَرَجُلٌ ذَكَرَ اللَّهَ خَالِيًا فَفَاضَتْ عَيْنَاهُ. And a man who remembered Allah when he's alone and he teared. And if a person tries to do that act of worship, bi'idhnillah, it will help him with his heart, because you find generally a person with a hard heart can't shed a tear. A person with a hard heart can't shed a tear. So if you're able to practice that and you're able to take account of yourself, or when you're reading the Quran, etc., and you're alone, and bi'idhnillah, there's a great reward for that.
What is eclipse prayer?
Eclipse is when, you know, when the sun is out and then the moon comes and then the moon covers the sun. That's called an eclipse. Or the other way around, you have solar eclipse, lunar eclipse. So a special salah for it. Salatul kusufi wal khusuf. So the Messenger ﷺ is to be worried when an eclipse is to happen, because as we know that it may be the hour that comes.
Sheikh, what is the difference between khusuf and kusuf?
Khusuf is the solar eclipse. Khusuf is the lunar eclipse.
Jazakallahu khairan.
And we'll take that in Salah. Allah Ibrahim, I read it.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So, what are these sunnahs when we come and join the class and then we say Assalamu alaikum 3 times to you?
If the person doesn't hear, okay, this we could interpret this hadith on the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, maybe addressing a large gathering, or at times repeating it for emphasis 3 times. Remember, people they wrote down what he said, especially towards the end of his life. They memorized what he said. As for if you're joining the class late, number 1, the scholars mention that it's not from the etiquette for a person to make salam and interrupt the lesson. Real life and as well as online. So if you come quietly. You don't even make salam. Then you can make salam afterwards.
Sheikh, but for example, when you ask us a question and then we answer, like I did earlier, I greeted you first and then is that fine? Or should we just answer the question immediately?
I prefer if you answer the question immediately.
Okay.
But if you're greeted quickly, no problem. Especially someone like you who's we are only lucky a few days when you come. Otherwise, we don't see you. We're happy to see you when you come.
Jazakallahu khairan. The same here, Sheikh.
Yeah. Yalla,
I'm
Ibrahim.
even more happier to meet you.
Inshallah. Ibrahim.
Some authorities declare that people may actually go insane in order to find in the dreamland of insanity the feeling of importance that has been denied to them in the harsh world of reality. There are many patients suffering from mental diseases in the United States than from all other diseases combined. What is the cause of insanity? Nobody can answer such a sweeping question, but we know that certain diseases, such as syphilis, break down and destroy the brain cells, resulting in insanity. In fact, about one half of all mental diseases can be attributed to such physical causes as brain lesions, alcohol, toxins, and injuries. But the other half, and this is the appalling part of the story, the other half of people who go insane apparently have nothing organically wrong with their brain cells. In post-mortem examinations, when their brain tissues are studied under the highest powered microscopes, these tissues are found to be apparently just as healthy as yours and mine. What makes these people go insane? I put that uh, I put that question to the head physician of one of our most important psychiatric hospitals. This doctor, who has received the highest honors and the most coveted awards for his knowledge of the subject, told me frankly that he didn't know why people went insane. Nobody knows for sure, but he did not say that many people who go insane find.
But he did say, huh?
Sorry. But he did say that many people who do go insane find in insanity a feeling of importance that they were unable to achieve in the world of reality. Then he told me this story. I have a patient right now whose marriage proved to be a tragedy. She wanted love, sexual gratification, children, and social prestige. But life blasted all her hopes. Her husband didn't love her. He refused to even eat with her and forced her to serve his meals in his room upstairs. She had no children, no social standing. She went insane, and her imagination, she divorced her husband and resumed her maiden name. She now believes she married into English aristocracy, and she insists on being called Lady Smith. As for children, she imagines now that she has had a few children every night. Each
A
time
new
I call
child, a new child every night.
a new child every night. Each time I call on her,
Yeah.
she says, "Doctor, I had a baby last night." Life once wrecked all her dream ships on the sharp rocks of reality, but in the sunny fantasy isles of insanity, all her barkentines race into port with canvas billowing and wind sinking through the masts. Tragic? Oh, I didn't know. But physicians told to me if I could stretch out my hand and restore her sanity, I wouldn't do it. She's much happier as she is. If people are so hungry for a feeling of importance, they actually go insane to get it. Imagine what miracle you and I can achieve by giving people honest appreciation of this side of insanity.
So
One of the
see what he's trying to tell you is that people, they crave importance. And then he's telling you people even at times go insane due to this craving of importance, and they remain like that because they feel a lot more appreciated. So he's saying that imagine you had to feed this void that another human being has. What's the title of the book is How to Win Friends and Influence People. So he's saying one of the points he'll eventually tell you, if you're able to fill that, people will listen to you, they'll like you, you'll be able to get what you want. Carry on.
One of the first people in American business to be paid a salary over $1 million a year when there was no income tax and a person earning $50 a week was considered well off was Charles Schwab. He had been picked by Andrew Carnegie to become the first president of the newly formed United States Steel Company in 1921. When Schwab was only 38 years old, Schwab later left U.S. Steel to take over the then troubled Bethlehem Steel Company, and he rebuilt it into one of the most profitable companies in America. Why did Andrew Carnegie pay $1 million a year or more than $300,000 a day to Charles Schwab? Why? Because Schwab was a genius. No, because he knew more about the manufacture of steel than other people. Nonsense. Charles Schwab told me himself he had many men working for him who knew more about the manufacture of steel than he did. Schwab says that he was paid his salary largely because of his ability to deal with people. I asked him how he did it. Here is his secret set down in his own words. Words that ought to be cast in eternal bronze and hung in every home and school, every shop and office in the land. Words that children are to memorize instead of wasting their time memorizing the conjugation of Latin verbs or the amount of annual rainfall in Brazil. Words that words that would all but transform your life and mine if you were only to live them. I consider my ability to rouse enthusiasm amongst my people, said Schwab, the greatest asset I possess, and the way to develop the best that is in a person is by appreciation and encouragement. There's nothing else that so kills the ambitions of a person as criticisms from superiors. I never criticize anyone. I believe in giving a person an incentive to work. So I am anxious to praise but loath to find fault. If I like anything, I am hearty in my approbation and lavish in my praise. That is what Schwab did. But what do average people do? The exact opposite. If they don't like a thing, they bawl out their subordinates. If they do like it, they say nothing. As the old couplet says, once I did bad, and that I heard ever. Twice I did good, but I heard never. But that I heard never.
Meaning that you make one mistake, everyone criticizes you. And you do a good thing not once but twice, you don't hear about it. Carry on.
In my wide association in life, meeting with many and great people in various parts of the world, Schwab declared, I have yet to find the person, however great or exalted his station, who did not do better work and put forth greater effort under a spirit of approval than he would ever do under a spirit of criticism. That, he said frankly, was one of the outstanding reasons for the phenomenal success of Andrew Carnegie. Carnegie praised his associates publicly as well as privately. Carnegie wanted to praise his assistants even on his tombstone. He wrote an epitaph for himself for Tread, "Here lies one who knew how to get around to his men who were cleverer than himself." Sincere appreciation.
I'll stop here. You want to carry on reading?
I could carry on.
Carry on.
Sincere appreciation was one of the secrets of the first John D. Rockefeller's success in handling men. For example, when one of his partners, Edward T. Bedford, lost $1 million for the firm by a bad buy in South America, John D. might have criticized, but he knew Bedford had done his best, and the incident was closed. So Rockefeller found something to praise. He congratulated Bedford because he had been able to save 60% of the money he had invested. That's splendid, said Rockefeller. We don't always do that. We don't always do as well as that upstairs. I have among my clippings a story that I never know happened. Never knew
that I know never happened.
That I know never happened. But it illustrates the truth, so I'll repeat it. According to this silly story, a farm woman at the end of a heavy day's work set before her menfolk a heaping pile of hay. And when they indignantly demanded whether she had gone crazy, she replied, "Why, how did I know you'd notice? I've been cooking for you men for the last 20 years, and all the time I ain't heard no word to let me know you wasn't just eating hay." When
she was cooking proper food all this time, they never appreciated. So she put hay for them one day. It says a made-up story. Then the day that she did something wrong was the day they criticized her. So he's trying to get to the point that human nature is we are quick to criticize and we are stingy when it comes to praising. So you might as well praise others. And inshallah, one day we'll go through some of the hadith. You find the Messenger ﷺ, when he dealt with people, especially those who were foreign, especially those who came as new Muslims, a lot of the times he praised them for certain qualities that they had, even when it came to the name. Inshallah, we'll go through that. Carry on.
When a study was made a few years ago on runaway wives, what do you think was discovered to be the main reason why wives ran away? It was lack of appreciation. And I bet that a similar study made of runaway husbands would come out to the same way. We often take our spouses so much for granted that we never let them know we appreciate them.
Yeah, let's stop there. Stop there. Monday you can read from there, inshallah. If there's anything they're trying to tell you in the whole book, first chapter was refrain from criticism, condemning people, because you're not going to get that which you need. And the second is he's telling you now how you start winning the people's hearts is to praise them. And if you're a Muslim and you praise them genuinely, inshallah,